Be true to oneself. June 1, 2013. I am the great divine director, also known by the Hindu peoples as Ganesh, one of the sons of Shiva. I am known by many names, but have always worked for the forces of evolution upon this planet, for the benefit of her people. Know that I do not belong to any one culture or religion, but that I serve all humanity, all life, in my alignment and service to the will of the Mother, Father, God and the Creator. These many past days our scribe has demonstrated God's will in her life by again committing to her path, to its importance and position in her life. Know that you are constantly tested to see if that commitment is still held, although all experience is useful for the shard of the Creator that you are. However, those who would lead, teach and demonstrate to the awakening masses must first be willing to commit their lives into the hands of their self, the internal connection to Source, in order that the connection be of the highest, purest possible. The temptations and distractions of the departing third-dimensional paradigm has caught up many a light worker if only temporarily, as was the case of our scribe. Still, the pattern of following her inner guidance was too strong to ignore. She was willing to listen to the subtle messages of her body, knowing that they originated in her higher self. She was willing to submit to going in the direction that the messages intimated, to cross that narrow bridge through the remaining heavy layers of the astral body surrounding her own auric field and the planet, and to go on, reaching the other side, the higher plane of beingness. She was more than willing to release all need to conform to the wants and needs of another over her own inner convictions and feelings, a difficult choice at times for many who hesitate to take their first steps on the path of return. The astral plane of this planet, made up of all thoughts ever thought but not acted upon, is in the process of breaking up. Thus, the waves splashing across her feet, Sea Dreamland, posted May 31, 2013, were unable to catch her up and toss her into the troubled waters. That and her own determination guided her across the narrow bridge, dark in her dreams, but symbolizing the Antakarana or bridge of light, that connects the human consciousness to that of higher self and Source. Everything in your life is presented as an opportunity for learning or remembering that you are a bright facet of the Creator, who volunteered to come here and forgot all about your mastery, beauty, strength and gifts. In these days of transition, from the Kali Yuga, or Dark Age, to the Satya Yuga, Light or Golden Age, it is perhaps easy to become confused about the meaning of one's path and commitment to growth and re-emergence into a fully fledged being of light. Self-judgment, self-doubt, distrust of one's feelings and guidance, self-denial and remaining issues of self-hatred and condemnation haunt the footsteps of many of the light workers who have come here to bring the heaven to earth. Perhaps you simply do not feel that you can adequately fulfill your role. Perhaps you feel that you do not deserve love and forgiveness, having dwelt in the land of darkness for so long. No, dear ones, my brothers and sisters, for that is what you all are, you are all masters. Every one of you, both those who play the dark roles and those who play the light ones. All of you are masters extraordinaire. There are many who would condemn us and our scribe for saying this, but sometimes those who act as villains in your life, such as our scribe's father and her disappointed suitor, these ones are your greatest teachers. In the higher dimensions, each of you chose the roles that you would play and how you would come together, if only for a short time, to play out those roles, offering opportunities for growth as a result. There are no enemies that exist in this world, only teachers, only you, the great collective of humanity, as one entity. As each of you, especially the light workers, those who are more self-aware than the populace in general, as each of you opens to this self-awareness and begin to reconnect to the source of your being, you will let go of the need to condemn self, whether that self takes on your own image or that of another human being. Soon, you will no longer have a need to see enemies all around you or danger in the air. You are returning to the awareness that you belong to a unified field of consciousness, that you have never left this field, but have only stepped away from it in consciousness for a short time. Your awareness of self has been blocked by self-imposed veils of forgetfulness. Those veils have been torn asunder and are swiftly dissolving for all humanity, even the most intransigent of beings, the former controllers of this planet. Beneath the attacks and vile deeds, the manipulations of corporate interests to control whole governments in an attempt to control the entire planet, these beings have taken on the darkest roles in the game of duality. And now, as the rest of humanity begins to awaken to the horrors and the misdirection taken by the world as a result of the guidance of these beings, they are now suddenly taking on a new role, not of directors and puppet masters behind the scenes, but of being the newly exposed targets of a growing anger, rage and a desire for vengeance emanating from an awakening populace. This is a new and generally uncomfortable role for anyone to assume, especially for those persons whose arrogance and contempt for society at large thought themselves far superior and unique from the struggling masses. They are to be greatly pitied, for their role, although chosen voluntarily before being born into wealthy and powerful families, has taken them into areas far afield from the connection to their own inner beings, to Source. Yet, even these ones, who have temporarily taken on the mantle of great evil, can turn to the light, learn to love themselves, especially when the light of others is shined upon their activities and they are shown forgiveness and understanding from those they formerly sought to destroy or control. Destruction of other is destruction of self. To condemn another is to condemn self. You are all a part of the collective of humanity, one being, who, for the sake of experience and learning has been divided up into seemingly independent and lonely individuals. As you come into self-awareness and learn to love yourself, you naturally open your heart to receive the guidance of your higher self. Your connection through the union of heart and higher mind binds you to the path on the journey home to self-mastery. All experiences that you undergo are presented to you to reinforce your self-mastery, to act as opportunities to see how you will think about yourself, whether you perceive the experience as being positive or negative or merely neutral. You are constantly given the opportunity to learn to lift up your own feelings, out of the mire of the astral plane with its conflicting emotions, and to focus on being who you already are, a master of life, a lover of life, a being of grace, strength, beauty and wondrous gifts. Your acceptance of self becomes an acceptance of the beauty and grace that dwells within all individuals who surround you in your daily life, your family, children, friends, co-workers, and even those whom you have called your enemies. The grace that you discover that dwells within will begin to radiate outward to those who meet you during the day. None of you exists as a truly separate being. You are connected by subtle energies at all times. You have perhaps forgotten that as a baby you could read auras and see angels. You have perhaps forgotten that you can hear the guidance of your guides and mentors who are always at your side. Perhaps you have forgotten to base your decisions and actions upon what you feel within, not what others tell you to believe. You knew this as a child before you were subjected to the conditioning of the older children and adults around you. You have perhaps forgotten that you are loved greatly by all of us, who stand as brothers and sisters, committed to guiding you back into self-awareness. All of you have the gifts that you require to carry you further on your journey home. You just need to open up these presents, unwrap them, and again take up the mantle of mastery that you temporarily dropped when coming into this world, into physical incarnation. You need to learn how to step out of the time loop of third-dimensional consciousness and back into the eternal now, the present moment time, where, in each moment of present time, you are again as pure and unsullied as you were when first you arrived here on this planet straight from the realms of light. Original sin does not exist. It was a fabrication of lies to bind you to the earth plane so that you could be controlled by forces and beings outside your own body, outside your self-awareness. Break free from whatever early conditioning that has warped your sense of self and regain your freedom to determine the direction in which you wish to carry your life. Your true being is pure, strong, beautiful and beloved by the angels and ascended masters. That is true of every living being that exists physically in this world, as well as for human beings. Some of you have never forgotten your ties to the higher worlds. You have always known that you were different. You have always known that you had a mission. That you had come into this world for a purpose. Many of you lost an outer awareness of the connection and the mission as you allowed yourself to become conditioned to the demands of your world, the noise of those who sought to mold you to their expectations. Some of you had the strength to resist the conditioning, choosing to live alone or separate so you could keep the flame glowing in your heart. Others fell into a temporary forgetfulness of the higher planes, but all have followed the call of soul, in one manner or another, until coming out the other side and re-emerging into the light or awareness that you are greater than the sum of your physical parts. Now the cycle is turning, from a dark age into one of light. The planet is returning permanently to its original blueprint, as one of the 12 sacred planets, a lighted water planet and ark containing an astonishing abundance and diversity of life. Those of you who have dedicated and daily rededicate your lives to being way showers, guides, teachers, mentors and active participants in the new world, you walk and lead the rest of your brothers and sisters through the demonstration of your faith and trust in self, in the Source, in the Creator, in your Mother, Father, God. Even acts that appear to contradict one's immediate understanding of self can be turned around and presented as a lesson for others to absorb and benefit from, as an example of being true to self and to the greater self, the collective of humanity. Our scribe saw this in the growing self-awareness of one of her friends, as she told her of recent experiences, of mistakes and of her decision to be true to self, to acknowledge what truly was hers and what belonged to another. While you may belong to the collective, each of you is a unique individual or facet of the diamond of creation. So each of your paths takes you in seemingly different directions than those of your neighbor or even those who are closest to you by blood, your family members. You are under no compulsion to do things exactly in the manner in which you have been taught by parents, teachers and other mentors. In fact, you need to step out of the conditioning and beyond the guidance of what is outside your consciousness and listen to what exists within. In this manner, you begin to walk the path of self-discovery, along the path that has been created by yourself for your own unique journey home. Along the way, you will discover that you are suddenly in the company of others, those whose interests and missions are similar to your own. But even then you will need to follow the signature beacon that is yours and yours alone back until you are completely prepared to re-immerse yourself into the collective pool of consciousness that exists in the higher planes. Your journey is designed to strip your auric field of all that is not of yours, what you are as you ever exist in the higher planes. The outer garments of the astral body will be stripped away, your 4 lower bodies become united as one unified body and you are revealed in a glory of colors, as your body of clay dissolves and your light body again comes fully online here in the physical plane. Then you will have the choice to move on to even higher planes of consciousness or to remain behind as a gatekeeper and way shower to those who come behind you. Such is the journey ahead for all. When that transition point is reached, is up to the individual. There is no judgment on our part. We support whatever decision you make, whether to remain as a third-dimensional human being or to remember your connection to the higher planes, your native existence in the worlds of light. Self-respect and respect of the journeys that others have chosen to undertake is important as the chaos of the transitional period continues to dominate the outer world. Seek the peace that lies within your own inner sanctuary, within your heart and within your higher mind. There you will find the needed clarity and calm to make your next steps, in whatever direction you choose. Understand, also, that some of the guidance given to you through the heart will confuse and confound your rational mind, the ego, as much of the guidance that emanates from the higher planes exists in a state of paradox. That is, that which is true today may not be true tomorrow. The ego was designed to protect you and to keep you fitting in within the rigid structures of the third-dimensional paradigm and becomes anxious when you seem ready to slip the confines of the artificial cage. Now that the structures have been dissolved, many stand at the entrance of their former cages, paralyzed by indecision and fear, thence the chaotic and unbalanced state of many individuals who do not yet have a hold of the lifeline of awareness, the connection to heart and mind. It is this very fact that demonstrates the importance of focusing on your own self-awareness, purpose of being, and inner guidance, so you will not get caught up by the commotion and noise playing out all around you. There will be times when you need to be willing to act without thinking and step forward in an act of faith onto that invisible bridge that will carry you across the abyss. And so that you can act as that guiding light, if only for one other individual, so they might also find and take hold of the lifeline and begin the journey within and back to home. See yourself as the beacon of light on the headland, standing tall above the fog and mists of the stormy astral sea. Your example, your light and love, your gentle smile and inner strength and commitment to your own journey will shine forth and encourage those who now struggle to release themselves from self-judgment and self-condemnation. Your love for self and for your own source of strength will be and is communicated through the connection between subtle bodies, between the auric fields that you pass through during the course of the day. Not for you is the choice to act as one who has chosen to withdraw physically from the world, as an anchorite, a nun, or a denunciate. No, you must walk through your daily life, displaying your light and auric colors to the world. Your light body is displayed through your actions and choices. It changes as you grow in self-awareness, becoming more real and brighter. As you connect to Source with greater self-awareness and consciousness, so too does the presence of your light body grow in strength. Someday you will step forth as a living being of light, present in your light body, looking like a human being, but in reality so much more. You will be and are a living demonstration of what it takes for a being, one who has voluntarily dropped their mastery to step back into self-mastery and to regain the code of many colors, your light body, your mantle of mastery of the third, fourth and fifth dimensions. Go forth, dear ones, and discover the steps that will carry you home. We eagerly await your return and the celebration of our reunion with those who volunteered to come to assist in bringing a darkened world back into the higher planes of existence. We act as your guides and mentors, as your cheerleaders, but you must walk the path on your own. Rediscover the strength, beauty and grace that exist within each of you. You each act as mirrors to one another. Be a clear mirror and reflect that great beauty that exists within to the one in whose face you gaze. May the grace and wisdom of the Mother and the strength and knowledge of the Father ever be with you in your daily life. I am the Great Divine Director and I go now, only to return on another day with more counsel. Namaste. Thank you, beloved Great Divine Director. Channeled by Tezjima, Elizabeth Ayres Escher. BlueDragonJournal.com